Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here for Wonder Egg Priority, Episode 3. I wonder what terrible abuses of authority and other human beings we're going to experience today. Because there's gonna be some, and they're gonna be bad. Oh no, okay, so last week we met Nara, and actually met her, and actually talked to her and stuff. She's a weird one. Don't fully understand her, but she put forth some very important seeming questions that we don't really have answers to yet. Then we tried really hard not to break an egg and ended up breaking an egg, releasing a super cute little rhythmic gymnastics girl who then got attacked by a giant, by her gymnastics coach, who then morphed into a giant lizard Muppet monster with way too many boobs and way too much of them, who then shot pink booba juice at us and tried to kill us. And then we killed it. And I guess saved the girl, but then she vanished into smoke, as they normally do. And then we tried to be friends with Nara, and I guess we're trying to do that, but neither of them know how to do that, but they're trying. So here we are. We've had 2 runs through this whole scenario. One of them was bullying, the other one was an abuse of power by an authority figure. What's next? I don't know. Scattered throughout the episode were a bunch of other little things that make me extremely suspicious of the homeroom teacher. I feel like he's a bad person, and I'd like to know how, but I'm also terrified because the way in which he seems to be bad is, the worst way. And I hope that it's not that, but I'm pretty sure it's that. And we'll see, eventually. For now, more Wonder Egg Priority. A happy, fun show where nothing goes wrong and the world is great. It's just like Kyoani. It's like cute girls doing club stuff. Being part of this organization is totally just like being part of a club. Nothing weird here. No risking your own life and limb to save other people from their traumas, and discovering the deep and terrifying extent of what humans are capable of doing to one another, and also what humans are capable of surviving and allowing to be done to them. It's a lot, and it's kind of bad, but it's a really well done bad, so it's good show, but God, the topics and the subject matter is rough. Other thoughts. Okay, taking a step away from how I feel about the previous episodes quickly, I want to mention something about the way that we're addressing these traumatic issues that's kind of begun to irk me as I think about it, and I'm not sure if it will continue to do so, but maybe it will. So I see sort of 2 branching paths of thought for myself. One is that it's hyper oversimplified, because in reality, if you are a person, a child, for example, in middle or high school, and you see bullying or abuses of power by an authority figure, the answer is not magically manifest a giant club and smack the person until they're dead. That doesn't help. Neither does fighting back physically generally, whether it's bullying or an authority figure or any of the other things we're probably going to see. So the message of the show, fight back against people being assholes and worse than assholes, is nice and it sounds really good, but it's not exactly usable. It's not terribly useful as information. I can imagine a lot of people who are actually dealing with some of this trauma looking at this show and going, that sounds great, but how do I implement that in my life? Because I'm not a magical girl who can manifest a giant pen mace and smack these people until they're dead. So that's one branching path. The other branching path is that this is not about stopping trauma or preventing trauma. It is about understanding that trauma is nearly universal, and trying to move past it is the way that we actually succeed. Where the victories that we achieve, where we smack the people until they're dead, don't save the girl ever. They always come too late. They never work. It doesn't help. And so the answer that the show presents is not prevent trauma. It is, we all have that shit. The only thing we can do is move forward and try to be better and try to make friends with people and try to exist past that in a world beyond that fear and that pain. And that second perspective I really like, and that first perspective I really don't like. So I feel like it's going to be up to the show to prove to me either that it's not any of those things and we're going a totally different direction with it, or to prove to me that it really does have an important message here about moving past these things and understanding, integrating, and becoming aware of integrating one's own trauma and fighting against it internally, but also becoming aware of and conscious of the potential traumas of those people around us. That seems like a good way to live, and I think a good message for a show. The other one seems like we made a quick whoopity-doobity smack them till they're dead power fantasy situation for kids who are in situations that they cannot get out of by their own power, and giving them the hope that maybe they could, but in a way that doesn't really work. So I just wanted to mention that it's my only real qualm with the show so far. A couple of people have mentioned that as the show goes on, they find that it sort of strays away from the subject material, and I haven't seen that happen yet. Obviously, we're only 2 episodes in, but this is where I'm at with how are we grappling with these deeply important and deeply painful issues, and do I think it's a good way of grappling with them in a piece of media? After all, a large portion of the point of my channel is to talk about what value we can glean from media, whether that's, wow, cool art, but more importantly, whether it's telling us stories in a safe place where those stories can occur without actually causing physical harm to people or psychological harm to people, and giving us tools and ways of dealing with such things. Tools like being really determined and recognizing that the world is hard are things that a lot of anime teach, and they're messages that I agree with. Same with your simple power of friendship and connect to other people in order to gain strength and fight against what is bad in the world. These are messages that matter to me, and I care about them, and that's part of why I love anime so much, because it's always so chock full of those simplified but also beautiful messages. Wonder Egg Priority is trying to do something a little bit more complex, but I'm not sure precisely what it's trying to do, and as we go along, I want to mention this now so that we can figure it out later and see if we agree with the way that it plays these things out. Either way, it's bringing the potential for trauma to the forefront and bringing ideas like bullying and the bystander effect to the forefront and implying a need to fight against those things without necessarily giving us the audience any tools to actually fight against them. So here we go. We're going to watch Wonder Egg Priority Episode 3. There's going to be some bad juju here, but I don't know what it's going to be, and that's all I've got here at the beginning. Let's watch the episode and find out. I have Episode 3 of Wonder Egg Priority up and ready to go. It's sitting at 0 seconds, 2 versions, picture-in-picture in the description, timer on YouTube. If you want to check them out early, they'll be on Patreon. Beep, beep, timer, let's go. See how I just slipped the little Patreon thing in there? Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, beep, beep, timer, let's go. Okay, this is not working. God damn it. Fuck. I'm gonna have to recut my hair. Oh, what is this? That's a lighthouse. Oh, okay, we're already mid-fight. And we're fighting a pedophile. Oh, lots of hands. Oh, yeah, okay. Got it. And we're meeting a new character. And she has a dank-ass razor blade sword. Okay. I already said that I like this character's character design. And she has her own statue, of course. She sounds really familiar. Whoa. What? What? So she's, like, is she soon toward the person that she cares about who died, who she wants to save and can't? Weird. I'll let this play. Because it's super, super pretty. Man, when at the end of the show they use this for a climactic moment, it's gonna be a thing. When they use this OP in the show, it's gonna be a thing. Crack. Ah, getting some eggs. Got 2 this time. Oh. And you're just okay now? What? How? Sure. No, they're just my eyes. It's natural. Buy me food. This bitch. The second what? Wait, the second egg costs money? Oh, okay, it does. For the gacha machine. Wasn't the girl with the stripe of hair in, no, that was Saki. Weird as hell. That makes sense. That's a nice... Oh, what a shot. I love it. 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 I love that too. Oh my god. Hi. Lol. Lol, no. And incoming. Heh. Yeah, unless Rika has, like, a terminal illness. I'm sorry, unless Neru does. She's always here, so... We haven't addressed that. I thought it was just she was getting injured, but... Mechanical chewing. Yeah, that gets old fast. That was great. I will not! Wonder if there's something going on here. Like in a meta sense. I'll have to look up her voice actress. I do too. Nah. You don't have what it takes. Oh, pfft. That's a great cut, though. Wait, but she insulted her own legs. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you, put me on stage. Ah, he's still here? He's still here? Yeah, hi. How did you get in? Fucking hell. Shit, fuck, god, shit, fuck. She's gonna see it. Not my dad. Not my dad. Yeah. Ah. Whoa. Big no, don't like him at all. I'm beginning to not like you very much, Rika. I understand that you're being hyper... Okay. Okay. That's horrible. Your dad's a shit. Your dad's a shit. Uh-huh, and he's got a terrible perspective on women. I don't believe you. At all. Not your prerogative to open that door. Yeah, zettai ne, indeed. Get the fuck out of here. I don't think I like you very much, Rika. I've lost my appetite, frankly. I'm wondering how much of it is a shell. Building to a breaking point. I agree. No, I think she is scary. No, it doesn't. No. Yes, like pillow fights, precisely. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. It's all a shell. Shit, fuck, shit, fuck, shit, god, fuck, god damn it. She cuts. Hyper depressed. And believing that everyone is disgusting within. Hi. Is that an egg? That's an egg. I need more context. Different flower garden. So, dream space together? Wasn't she in a field of white? Yeah, okay. Fucking hell. But then self-hatred is a huge part of it. You slept near each other. Oh my god. It's all shells, dude. It's all shells. Oh. Oh. And something that you've had to deal with. Ah. Oh, hi. Wonderful. They are not adorbs. Weapons? Because she cuts. This is so flip-flappers. That was fun. Great. Boing, boing. Boomerang razors. Alright, that's pretty cool. Jesus! I don't like you very much. Okay. She wasn't fine when her ribs were hurting. That was the first sign. She tamps down all of her feelings and all of her pain. She just covers it. Got it. The lighthouse. A beacon of light that others follow. But lighthouses are also bright so that you stay away from the rocks that are underneath. Crack. Yeah, get real. Yeah, fuck both of you. Yeah, super double fuck both of you. Got it. Trying to be cruel. Killed herself? Stopped eating. That's what the cloths over the statues are. They're burial shrouds. Damn, you are real fucked up inside, Rika, and now I feel compassion for you. Some great cuts. Wow, fun, 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 fun. That's new. Oh boy. Wow. Wow. Okay, alright. Now you guys can fuck off. That looks bad. Kill that bitch. No, don't cliffhang me on that. Fuck. Next time, colorful girls. Okay, then. Ow. Ooh, ow. Ooh, ow, 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 ow. Wow, this episode feels like walking on, like, a bed of nails. It's like, ow, ooh, ow, 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 ow. Jesus. Give me a second. I'm going to import the video, for this episode. I already muxed it to an MP4 earlier, just because I knew that I was going to want to do this, probably, because it's web and there's so much interesting composition. I'm going to put it into my video editor, and we're going to do our discussion off of that instead of off of the video and NPC. Give me a sec. See you in a moment. Yay. Okay, I'm going to mute it, and then we can go very fast, which is great. And here we start with the lighthouse. The first thing that I want to talk about is this lighthouse imagery, because it clicked a little bit later. I started thinking, once we get to the lighthouse for the second time later in the episode, we end up in this location once again, it starts to click as I'm wondering what it is that makes Rika kawaii who she is, and why is she the way that she is. We get bits and pieces, but we don't get enough. So, why near a lighthouse, and why do we start with that as the first scene of the episode? We talked about this before. The first shot of a show is really important, at least if the people who are directing and creating the show know what they're doing and care about the way that they create first impressions with the audience. So our first frames of the episode are this lighthouse, and then Kawaii Rika going and fighting somebody, a pedophile, which, you know, the design of the pedophile is all grasping hands and horrifying and awful and bad and real gross. Why the lighthouse, though? Well, what do lighthouses do? They shine a bright light in the darkness, but it is not a light to draw people closer, right? Lighthouses as a thing that is done, and they still exist for this reason, they're to show ships where the reefs are, where the rocks are, and where not to go. Do not come closer to this brilliant, shining beacon. What does Rika do? She's a lighthouse. She tries to shine as bright as she can, but it's to push people away, because she's got dark inner secrets that she doesn't want anybody to find out about. She's got a person inside. And so she acts like a total stuck-up bitch constantly. Constantly. And that's her way of being a lighthouse. That's actually really interesting. What is this flower? What is it? I need to look it up. I have to look up what this flower is. I mean, look it up in Hanakotoba. It kind of looks like a freesia, which is childish and immature, but I don't know if that's accurate. It's not a honeysuckle, which is the right color, but it's not. Is it an orange lily? It kind of looks like an orange lily. Orange lily would be hatred, revenge. It could be an orange lily, which is the Yuri, but it's not the white lily of Yuri. Fun times to be shared? That doesn't track. Okay, I can't find it. Hey, anybody who knows anything about Hanakotoba, what this flower be? Why it dare? What is? I don't know. Let's go fast. Zip zap zoom. Bop bing bang, razor blades. First I thought it was something about crafts or something, then we realize it's much worse than that. It's about cutting. We see that this character she goes up to, here we have the white lilies, which would imply Yuri, which is probably from the perspective of her idol, her fan. And she immediately insults this character. I might look good in a flower garden like this, but not a fatty like you. You know what? We see these now, and they are very similar in the way that they're drawn. I think the orange ones are orange lilies. Okay, we get through our OP. And here we are. Here, we run into her. They never told me my body here would get hurt. I'm terribly sorry, but that's none of our concern. So here's my question, actually. I'm wondering now if she's just faking being hurt. I don't think so. I don't think she is. Either way, if she's faking being hurt, then she's just seeking attention, which makes sense for her character at this point. But if she's not faking being hurt, then what she does here She doesn't heal. She doesn't heal instantly, right? And instead, she tamps it down, presses it underneath, covers it up, stands up, and pretends to be strong, even though the pain is eating her from the inside. That tracks more with what we've experienced of this character, I think. So I'm going to believe that she is hurt and is pretending not to be, because it just makes more sense to me. Voice actress. I need to look up her voice actress, because I feel like there's something going on there. The Mal Wonder Egg priority. Rika Kawaii, Shuka Saito. D4DJ first mix. Oh, she's one maiden character in all of Love Live Sunshine. Actor Illusion. ALLUSION, Illusion. She is a main character in an idol anime. Boom. Got it. Cool. That tracks. So, used to be a junior idol, eh? So people might recognize that for sure. For sure. I hate this. I hate her line about herself, like kawaii, because I'm so cute. Yeah, I get it. Okay, great. Are you saving a friend to full ignore, and then she is all about the outer shell? I assume because she thinks that everyone is shit inside. That everyone is a thin layer of paint over fecal matter, is how she sees people. She also invades personal spaces. This shot is so great and so Naoko Yamada. It reminds me immensely of a particular shot in Hyoka in the episode with the mystery video, where the student council lady is in a conversation with somebody else, and there's a very similar scene, except that it's shot from the side, stepping into somebody's personal space, and then them stepping back and away is interesting. It's also interesting because... Well, it's interesting to me because in different cultures have different feelings of personal space. Americans feel like we need more personal space than Japanese individuals generally do. City dwellers generally feel like they need less personal space than country dwellers do. And that's just by nature of comfortability, and lots of areas that have public transportation where people frequently get on trains or subways together get a much closer feeling of personal space. So if you watch, you can find like almost time-lapse-esque videos of meetings between like Japanese businessmen and American businessmen, and sometimes the like Japanese businessmen will be trying to get closer to fulfill their closeness requirement for a like normal conversation, and the Americans will be slowly stepping back and away from them because they're invading the personal space. It's an interesting thing to know that different people from different cultures have a different sense of that, and it makes a lot of sense that our main character Arai would have a need for more personal space than somebody else because she's a hikikomori who lives alone. I'm practically a hikikomori, and if people get within like 3 feet of me, I feel awkward. So yeah, this tracks. It's also really good, and it demonstrates more about this character. She's getting up in your face, literally. And also cutting right to the quick of things that our main character finds like, don't talk about that. I'm nervous about that. Don't do that. Yeah, does it bother you? Sorry, but she's not. She doesn't really seem to care here, and she gets closer and immediately asks her for money. So I immediately start to dislike this character, and I realize only later that that is perfectly intentional. This is somebody who, again, thinks of people as shit because she thinks of herself as shit, right? We as humans generally project our own mentality onto other people. We believe that other people act in the same way that we do, which makes it like, if you're irrational, you think everyone around you is going to act irrationally. If you're rational, you expect everybody to act rationally, and they don't, which is terrifying. But if you feel like a shitty person who doesn't actually care about anybody, it's rather likely that you'll expect other people to feel the same way. So, boom, spot me some cash. She treats everybody like shit because she feels like shit. But we don't get to find that out until later. We only get the experience of meeting someone who we find distasteful, and we experience it along with I, because it is distasteful, and this person is cruel in a way, and hurtful in a way, and a user in many ways. We go along with it for the first part because it's very difficult to go against somebody when they ask you for something. But slowly we begin to understand, like, you just do this all the time. It's not like, oh, you forgot your wallet once. It's that you just expect other people to pay for you. Ah, all right. I need to sever ties with you and get the fuck away. So we hand that to her, and she does a double hand idol clasp, which we then reference later as her being like, it was like a one-girl handshake session. It was real weird. Come see Rika again. Nantene. Sure. And a little bit. Cool. I don't like her, but then I come to. Okay, so I love this whole sequence. I love the way that we integrate the text messages. It's really solid, and I wish that we saw it more in modern setting anime, because it is the large portion of life. It's cool. This sequence of shots is sick. First off, really pretty fridge. Second off, POV, straight down, framing, what the fuck? And then the next frame is also amazing. I love the way that the fridge cuts into the frame, and the framing of the windows behind. It's super cool, and it feels like a real place, but it feels like we found a cool angle in a real place, which is like my favorite type of thing. We do the same thing here with this big cutout, that is it supposed to look like a razor blade? Sharp edge, X-Acto knife, cut, zip zap, maybe. If they actually thought that, then that blows my mind. I kind of doubt that was a thought that we had, but hot damn. And Rika's here. Hey, I need money still. More money, please. And going through all these different I names, people just call you Otto I. Yeah, they just call me Otto. So it's like that, huh? I followed you yesterday to pay me back. No. Pay for more things for me. God. Okay. Neru, I love the body language here from behind. As she laughs, she like her chest contracts, right? Ha 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 ha. Which is very not a thing that I've seen before, and I like it a lot. We've also got the little sway as they walk nonchalantly. It's fantastic. It's really great. Okay, so we come in here, rehabilitation, give your body time to rest, you'll only make things worse. We still don't necessarily know what Nara's rehabbing from. I assumed before that it was all about the injuries that she gets doing egg things, but maybe not. Maybe it's something more serious than that. I'm thinking it might be, but I don't know. Don't worry, doctor, we're still young, blah, blah, blah. Flirtatious smile, I suppose, apparently. Really great little cut of picking up fruit. I fucking love kiwi too. I do. And awkward. Mechanical awkward chewing. Eggs. Onward. That's so great. It's so good. And then I love this little schmers. This one, and then there's one more. As she actually eats it and flips the stick forward. Bing! Schmears. Love it. I will not. Natsume, huh? You want to form a unit? Wow, okay. Used to be a group in All Out Kiss. All the others were too ugly. Yep, that's why. I don't think so. And definitely not interested. And get your kiwi stolen. And she's just like... you stole my kiwi. I'm gonna kill you. Yeah. No. Bad juju. What about me? You want to put me in an idol group? Well, she got nice legs. This is a fun, kind of a weird cut. Just... super weird. But well done. Backup dancer, and he's here. Every time we come into the house, our student counselor is doing something with mom. I guess they're talking, probably. I can't tell if I'm just being baited into hating him. I just can't tell. And I don't know how to interpret the scene that we get a little bit later of Koito crying into his arms. Obviously, a little close for comfort for an adult and a young high school age girl to be that close. A little bit awkward to me. But it didn't read as anything but relatively innocent, so I don't know. I just feel creepy about him. Okay, we move along. Hi, hello, and a friend, hello. And then he's gonna bounce. I'll leave today. I'm sorry, Mr. Sawaki. You've got one good-looking daddy, not my dad. And she immediately smiles like, oh, great. Cool. Weird. School counselor, Yurahiki. Trying to get with the hot counselor. Jesus. Quit it with the depressing talk. Jesus. Aren't you trying to save your friend? She's not my friend. She's my fan. A little wallet who'd buy me any. I hate this. I hate it. I hate it, and I don't forgive it. But I'm trying to put my finger on and then put into words precisely what about it that I hate. The first element is that I despise contempt as an emotion. Contempt for other human beings is something that must be earned, in the same way that respect must be earned past a certain point. But everyone deserves a modicum of respect, a modicum of dignity. Now, true respect must be earned. Likewise, on the other end, contempt must be earned by actions, bad actions. Rika feels contempt for basically everyone based on first impressions and outward appearances, right? But it's not just the contempt that really churns my stomach. It's the contempt coupled with the willingness to use somebody for whom that contempt is felt. Because if you have contempt for somebody for some reason, at least have the decency to not use them. But Rika doesn't do that. We begin to see a little bit of an understanding of why is Rika this way. And the answer that the show gives us is that it's mostly nurture. My daddy says a beautiful woman doesn't need a wallet. Your daddy has a bad understanding of how human beings work, and that's not the way that things should be. It's like people who think that the definition of masculinity in a relationship is the willingness to pay for everything and just handle everything, or people who insist upon being treated like a princess. It's stupid bullshit. We're all human flesh sacks. We're all meat and bones and shit with barely conscious brains that barely work. You're not a fucking princess. You're a meat sack. Just like everybody else. Someone will always offer to pay for a beautiful woman. While that may be true, it doesn't work terribly well. So you're following that idea from a guy who got divorced. Shocking. I'll pay you back for the egg, promise. I don't believe you, and neither does Otoi. This is a great moment of just like, oh, okay, well then, you'd better. Okay, so roll cakes, you'd better, absolutely. And she's so willing to take. That's the, I hate it. So willing to take from other people as though it is her due. Again, nobody is owed anything, except perhaps a modicum of respect for being a human being. Nobody's owed anything. So willing to take. Short on cash. I'm gonna save her and get my wallet back. It's only later that we begin to understand that this is all armor, right? This is all a shell. This is all a bright light to keep people away from the treacherous rocks that are inside this character. Ugly and a real fatty, blah, blah. Right. How shallow are you, really? Mine. I love Otho's voice actors, how she plays. So mad. Just like, get the fuck, no! I don't care, you just can't take from me. Was Koito cute? Yes. And the odd thing, the weird thing, is that despite all of her disdainful attitude and her contemptuous nature and her cruel usury of other people, she does ask questions that get Ai to open up, and she seems somewhat to care about the answers. and spill. Okay, so we spill, we get our first really interesting cut of the episode, in my estimation, just this one where she runs past, and then this as, like, everybody's experienced this, right? You spill liquid on a table, and it moves toward the breaking point, and then as soon as it goes over the edge, it just, because there's now a flow and a wave, a place for it to go. It's essentially just like the siphon effect. This feeling of, like, pressure building up to a breaking point expressed by liquid spilled on a table. Well played, show. Well played. Really, really great. So, lend me some pajamas. She's shameless. Watch out for her. Flirtatiously with the doctor. Also called Mr. Sawaki hot. Some stuff about adult men. Junior idol could mean bedroom stuff. I don't think it does. Like pillow fights. And we find out just how innocent I really is. And the answer is very. Oh! She's got a picture of those same flowers up there. And some blue ones down there. Intradasting. Intradasting. And we cut from there to here, and we discover that Rika Kawaii cuts herself. Now, this in isolation doesn't tell us much, but it tells us there is an immense amount of pain and self-hatred going on here in this character's mind. And this is, it's to the point where it's absolutely no laughing matter. Now, it's difficult to tell in animation how old these scars are, but they don't look that old. And it's at this moment that I realize that the idle exterior, the focus on outward appearance, the treating other people with contempt and disdain is all part of a complex around a disconnected person who doesn't have direction in life and hates herself for a variety of reasons, only some of which we know about. But at this point, I cannot feel compassion for her. At this point in the episode, I cannot feel compassion for her. Because we've done too much to build up how much of a bitch she can be. So we move along. And we see that the razor is still there, still with her. And so we understand why it's her weapon. And we see her in the bath with all of her shell taken away. Sitting alone, nobody to see her. Did you call your parents? Who cares about her? Scratch the surface and she's all slimy. Everyone is. Shit underneath. So she lives with her mother now, right? Did you call your parents? Who cares about her? It tells us that there's only one parent. Everyone is. I won't cut anymore. I promised. How long have you kept that promise? How often have you broken it? Unknown. So then we cut to this scene. We open here and we see this. Again, it's too close for comfort. But it technically could potentially be innocent, maybe. The threshold, the boundary that is then put in place. And then this slow, slow turn. Cut short. And assumptions made. I can't assume anything. Like, before this episode, I fully assumed that he was a sexual predator. Full assumption. After this episode, I can no longer assume that. I still think it's likely. But there's a chance that he genuinely is just a guidance counselor trying to comfort somebody for something else. So perhaps our feelings of hatred and malintent from him or toward him are not because of something that he did, but because of the fact that Koito went and talked about her problems to him instead of to I. But I don't trust him. Fuck. Why is it so complicated? It's so confusing. Okay, we sleep. together. Why, koito. And we enter a field. Her flowers are those poppies? Pink poppies? I don't think so. Let me go find the Hanakotoba list again. We know that it's white Yuri lilies for Rika. But what are these? Or are they Cosmos? They could be Cosmos. They have the right coloration for Cosmos flowers. Which would be love and cleanliness. Which perhaps makes sense. I think that's likely. Because they're a relatively popular flower for that. You don't look too good in a flower garden either. Ugh. That's my little wallet. Awful. And I love the flower petals that start talking. Absolutely crazy. How can her feelings be stronger when she calls her friend her wallet? I don't know. So, we meet Miko and Mako. Two girls who killed themselves because their idol did. Great. It's not easy or casual. That's basically the way fanatical fans are, and she knows from experience because that's the way that Chiemi was. Fuck. They're here. There's a swimming beach down below, and up they come. And she specifically calls them the bystanders, which is precisely what they are. Excellent. They're adorbs. No, they're not. They're horrifying. Lucky, I wish that we could swap. You have a pen, a thing of creation. She has blades, only destroy. Man, they really nail some of the symbolism here. I mean, it's also simpler than that. It's that she hates razors, but also uses them, right? Regardless, we jump into action animation. And this episode has some of the more impressive action animation in the show. This is really cool. And there are a bunch of scenes of Rika being really cool. This is classic. We use a shifting border in the front to avoid having to animate the whole thing, which is really smart. I've got no problemo with it at all, personally. Love the big speedline backgrounds and the big whams. And I particularly love these, they're kind of like impact frames, I guess, but where we just do these big, dark marker line sorts of things, creating just colors smashing together. But we know the color of her thing, and we know the color of the Sino Evils, so ba-bwam! What is with that smear there? Oh, okay, that's cool. See, this is why putting it in my editor is so nice, because I can just frame by frame at fucking will. So nice. And I can just speed up at will, and it's smooth. This is a really fun cut. What is that? Okay, I see. We're smearing underneath it and over it. Cool. Vroom. And then we turn, and it's even better as she lands. Because we go from this, like, I think these might be by two different animators. I would assume so. Small, very anime, and very, like, much more realism here. Hitting a pose. Okay, cool. But I told you, go that way. All right, we gotta go fight that thing, and we do a big throw, which is also really cool. Sweet. Love the background animation. It's fun. Incoming, back the other way, behind you. Holy crap. Okay, bye. And got it. Piece of cake. Not quite. Get a chomp from that, which eventually will reveal to us the scars on her arm from where she cuts herself. Yeah. I was trying to decide this earlier, whether I could share this in good faith, but with no identifying anything, I think I can. I was pretty close friends with, I've been pretty close friends with one person who I've known was woodcut. She was a gymnast, actually, and had to quit because of the strain on her joints, too many injuries. Had to quit at like 14. because she started when she was like 7 and was at a hyper competitive level up through like 14 or 15 and then had to quit because of injuries. And she hated her body a lot. I thought she was beautiful and a really good friend, but she hated her body a lot and felt after giving up gymnastics and no longer being in peak physical condition, she felt fat all the time, and she hated herself. And she didn't cut her arms, she cut the insides of her thighs a lot for years. And I think she's a lot better off now, and I'm glad. I think she ended up dating a couple of people who were good to her and cared about her. And I guess that cycles us or brings us back around to that two ideas of how we deal with trauma over the course of the show. And one of them is that the trauma doesn't go away. You integrate it and find people who you can connect with, and it fades a little bit into the background. That's what happened for her, I hope, I think. I haven't talked to her in a while. I should reach out. But here we have Rika, a character who seems to desperately want to push people away, but also shows up on their doorstep. I don't know where I'm going with this. I think I had an idea before I started talking about it, but then memories and emotions start flooding back, and I've lost it. Anyway. The light flickers on and reveals some truth. We see those cuts, and they are not healing. They are old. Just a youthful whatever. I want to put some emphasis on these two lines because they're so right for the way that people brush off things that are incredibly deep and important pain for them. When it's anything but a youthful whatever, right? And similarly, okay, show's over. But Otto pushes forward. Tell me about Chimmy, for real. Yes, it is my business. Tell me. Few people just line up over and over, and she was one of them. A real idiot. But as genuine as it gets, right? All her allowance, all her New Year's money with a smile. And we see the idol group behind her shift and change and people leave as the event ends. But Chiemi lines up again. But she was no rich patron. She was giving everything. Everything. And we don't really get to understand why, but we do get to understand some of the... I don't know. People have different reasons for doing things like that, for throwing their lives into the life of someone else, for... I think often it has to do with trying to live vicariously through someone who they idolize, and that's really sad. And I think at this point, I can begin to imagine that Rika's self-hatred is from the loss of illusion and from the knowledge that she is not what she appears to be on the outside. That Chiemi sees her as a god almost, and she knows herself as a human shit. We're all lumps of meat sacks, right? We all know it. So when people treat us really well, overly well, when people go out of their way and harm themselves for our benefit, it doesn't line up. It's like I don't know. I experience this all the time, but I think a lot of people, because I've seen it written out by other people, I've seen other people mention that this is a thing that they feel. Some people have a really hard time taking compliments. I am one of those people. And it's not, I don't hate myself or anything like that. It's just that I don't think that I'm anywhere near as good as I should be. And a part of that is my own trauma and my own bullshit. And a part of it is my drive to try to get better, because that's the way that I organize and and put my life together. That's my angle, that's my perspective moving forward, is to try to be better. And so I'm never good enough, right? And not in a dangerous way or in a self-hating way, but in a positive, there is always something to improve sort of way. So when people compliment me, which they do sometimes, it doesn't track. It's kind of like in the same way that a body dysmorphic person might get told that, oh, you're looking really thin, and they go, no, what are you talking about? And the compliment doesn't even register. It just sort of bounces off. I'm horrible. I'm ugly. I'm horrifying. But for someone like an idol, where it is your job to be idolized, that can be a lot. And so that divide between the way other people see you and what other people are willing to do for you and how you see yourself creates an impossibility. And from that can grow the desire to, for example, scar oneself, to cut oneself, to feel pain. One of the many reasons that people go into self-mutilation. And I'm in no way an expert on any of this stuff. And I hate to go for cliches or like simple answers, but the true truth is that I don't have the ability to help someone who's in this situation. I don't have the skills or the training. But if you or someone that you know identifies with Rika on any of these things, please, 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 please seek professional help. Please, please. I don't know. I'm rambling. Shoplifting in town, selling what she took. And these two. Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. Fuck both of you. I mean, we'll save you. That's what we're here for. But god damn, that is fucked up. I didn't want that, so I told her I'd never be friends with a fan. Especially a fatty in the first place. Never come back. And she didn't. She went to her funeral, and she was skin and bones. She killed herself via malnutrition, essentially. And we can't linger on those thoughts because pain is coming and is attacking. I love this. We do a blur all over her to make her look way faster than she's actually going. Super great. Some great scenes, some great sequences. Neom boom, bang boom. If it means I can see Chiemi again, I'll kill as many as it takes. And there we reach the heart of it, finally. And finally, after coming to understand a little bit more of Rika, finally, here, at this point, I feel compassion for her. To step away from that emotional content and make a commentary on the creators of the show for a second, I think that it is a solid exhibition of strengths if you can make me genuinely despise a character in the first half of your episode and make me care about them and feel for them in the second half. Just the ability to do both on the same character is pretty fucking powerful. And that's, I'm impressed. I'm not happy. I'm not happy about this. I don't like it, but I also really, really like it, and I really, really respect it. Okay, I love the 2D animated Xeno Evils. They are almost never CG in this whole episode, and they look way scarier and way better. The one that goes running next, yeah, these guys go running. I love the way that she, like, full ninja runs after them. I also just really like the way that the cut is done, and I wonder who animated it. No way I would be able to find out, but I love the way it's done. And they just look great. So we start to get real stretchy and wacky. This is obviously a specific animator doing this, and I don't know who, and I'd love to know who, because I feel like I've seen some of their cuts before. This cut in particular, and then there's one a little bit later. Boom, bang, boom. There was a part of me that resented her. We were friends, so why didn't she talk to me? Why? If she'd asked me to die with her like those girls did, I would have. And we run again. Yeah, this is that sick stuff. We turn this hallway, this staircase, into abstract art. That is just an explosion of color, and it's super neat. Neom, taking the steps many at a time, sprinting up the stairs and destroying everything in our path. Super cool. I love this zoom to eye, into eye, straight into her heterochromic eye. I also love the flash here. That's almost like an impact frame at the center of her iris that then morphs into the next sequence of her foot coming down. Super nice. Great impact frames. Really cool. Individually really cool. I don't know that I love the flow of them in this moment, but it still works. I think that this background animation slowing down is really impressive as well. It's kind of cool for creating a scene. And I'll kill them with you. Okay, then we get much more simple. There's a horrifying stalker lady who tells us that it's all about mature women, I guess, and some great shots. I love characters running on the body parts of giant enemies. It's like, I haven't actually put it into words before, but it's one of the coolest things that happens frequently in anime is characters like run and jump onto like the arm or the elbow, and then they freaking oh, what's that great game? Titans, you have to kill them. It's old. It's an older game. Shadow of the Colossus. That's it. Yeah. That's exactly what I was looking for. I love the Shadow of the Colossus vibe of all shots and scenes like this. And this is just kind of a clusterfuck of wonderful ideas and choices. Like, we don't shoot this from any other angle. We shoot it from our perspective, falling into the maw of this thing, zipping down through the smoke, and then finally emerging. We protect these girls from monsters, and you are the monsters. People will fawn over you forever. Yeah, alright, we won't end up with you. Getting some humor here at the end is fun. Horrible monsters are also fun. And we get to kill the thing. And we don't, actually, because we stopped too early, don't we? I forgot. I thought we actually got to kill this thing. Instead, Rika turns into a crystal, and we still have to fight it. If we hadn't just spent an hour and 20 minutes discussing this, I don't know, there's like some time that will be skipped because I'll have to cut things together. If we hadn't spent an hour and 20 minutes discussing this, and if I didn't have to watch one episode a week just so that I could get to the right point where the final episode airs and we'll have it ready by the time we get there, I would watch another episode because this cliffhanger got me. I assume that Rika will be saved from this situation. And I hope that we get to find out more about her. And I hope that we get to watch her grow a little bit. Because even though I am able to feel compassion for her, that doesn't necessarily forgive the way that she acts now. Understanding and forgiving are two different things. And forgiveness to me requires an intent to change. And I don't see that in Rika yet. But, again, to introduce a character and then make me hate them. Okay, sorry. To introduce a character with a character design that I really like and then make me hate them is already difficult. and then turn that hatred into, oh, I understand a little bit of why this person is as distasteful as they are to me, and I understand why they act this way. That's really powerful. That's impressive. This show is gonna hurt. It already does. There's a lot here. I mean, it's the best kind of show for discussion because it forces me to reconcile things and it forces me to think about the genuine motivations of characters and the reasons that they are the way that they are, without being flippant about it. Because you can't be flippant about this, right? I mean, yeah, I guess you can. You can be like, oh, stupid people are stupid. But when I see this kind of stuff brought up in anime, I have a need to think it through and try and figure out what's going on and why it's going on. The nature of characters in fiction is that characters don't do things without purpose, and so there's always meaning and always intent behind them. It's a question of how well thought that intent is, how high quality that intent is, and what we're trying to express and show and tell. And this show keeps nailing really interesting characters, while also creating a subtle but also sort of bludgeoningly painful interpersonal mystery with what exactly happened with Koito, who is Sawaki-sensei, and is he as evil as he seems to be? And then introducing these main characters, Neru and Rika, who are also deeply interesting. Utterly fascinating. Utterly fascinating, fantastic color design, gorgeous characters, pretty freaking solid animation, unique and interesting ideas, trippy as fuck sequences sometimes, really fantastic composition and framing all the way through, especially in normal locations, just giving us emotion. Incredible use of symbolism and understanding of how to use body language for different things, like that personal space sequence that we had, and then symbolism stuff like the lighthouse, which I think is entirely intentional, and the liquid building to a breaking point at the edge of a table, absolutely stellar. This is really good. This is good anime and good media in general. And it hurts, which most of the good stuff does. Well done, Wonder Egg Priority. I wonder what horrible abusive things we find out about next time. I don't know, but we'll find out next week. I'm going to wrap there. I've been Teeaboo. This has been WEP number 3. I hope you've enjoyed. Is enjoyed the right word for this? I don't know. Experienced this as much as I have, and I hope to catch you next week for more. See you there. Peace.